This is TWiT.
Amazon has announced a new Kindle lineup. Just, you know, you could thank me because I just bought it a Kobo. And, and of course, Amazon immediately announced the new Paperwhites. 6.8-inch screen. That's nice, although I got the Kobo with the 8-inch screen because I want a little bit bigger screen. USB-C, I'm very jealous because that is a much better way to charge. They've had, up to now, it's been that horrible micro USB.
That's the only thing I charge on a micro USB now.
I know. So it's
got
time.
That one charger.
Time they did that. 2-year worry-free guarantee warranty. You could pre-order today. Ships on October 27th. I guess that's the whole thing. The Paperwhite has a really good screen. I have one of those. I also have an Oasis. So I'm kind of a Kindle fan. That's why I thought I'd try it with a Kobo. Ad-supported version, $139.99. You just get an ad on the start screen. It's not very intrusive.
I kind of love the ads on my Amazon start. My husband, like, I thought I would hate it, but they're the cheesiest freaking books. I love it. He's a Navy SEAL. She's a Scottish heiress. Together, they're forced to work and they hate each other. Meet in another international foreign mystery romance.
They're gonna fall in love. It's waterproof, which I think is a nice feature. That's why I got the Kobo, because I could take a bath with it. And you get 4 months of Kindle Unlimited for free when you purchase it. With ads, $160. The Signature Edition has more storage. Kindle Paperwhite, 8 gigs. Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition has 32 gigs. And that, by the way, is a massive amount of storage for ebooks.
Yeah, for ebooks.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're doing like graphic novels.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think I have like 2,000 books on my Kindle, and I am nowhere near the storage cap.
The only reason I wanted to try the Kobo, which is, by the way, owned by Rakuten now.
That's right.
Which is a little odd, is because I was very interested in the fact that it supports Overdrive, which is the library software that a lot of public libraries use. I was able to sign up with the Sonoma County Library online. I didn't even have to go into the library. I'll never see a library, and I can get books and audio books free. They're just like library books, though. You have to, you know, send them back. They return automatically after a period of time, and you have to wait.
And you can manage that all through the Kobo itself, because I use an app called Libby.
Right.
And
I was going to say
kind of thing, but then I have to send it through, and sending it through to my Kindle sometimes involves me like then logging into my Amazon account on my phone. It's by no means like a single button device on the Kindle itself. So that would actually be pretty cool to have it integrated like that.
Yeah, I'll give you I'll do a little review when it comes out, because that's what interested me on it. Also the waterproof, although now the Kindle immediately after I ordered this came out with a waterproof version. And it also does portrait as well as, landscape as well as portrait, which I think might be nice.
Interesting for novels, and how, like, I have a couple books that are terrible on the Kindle.
Right.
Like cookbooks.
Yeah. Yeah, anything with illustrations. I have some chess books. When you're studying chess in a book, there you have diagrams of the board. And on some of them, the production is so screwed up that the diagram is just tiny. You can't zoom it. It's not like you zoom. So you're like, that's useless. I can't even read it. So we'll see. Kobo, you have to buy through the Kobo store if you want to buy books. But since it supports the library and it supports EPUB and it supports Dropbox, I have a lot of books that I bought, from various publishers in EPUB format, not the Kindle proprietary Kindle format, so I could put those on here. So that'll work out pretty well. It's a little more expensive than the Amazon. I think the Amazon is somewhat subsidized by Amazon itself.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. Just
to corner the market on those ebooks. Yeah. I will say, if you want to feel angry at Amazon, look at what they're doing with libraries and Libby, and the kerfuffle that's happened. The
What's going on?
That has Libby. Well, as Libby has made it much easier for people to borrow ebooks from their library, Amazon is actually starting to make it's so some of the books that are published under their imprint, their ebooks published under their ebook publishing imprint, don't go to libraries. They're just like, screw it, we're not giving it to you. Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, the major publishers are already doing windowing, and they're making shorter. Oh, there you go.
This is a story from March. Yeah, that's too bad. You know, that's it's kind of funny because we just have this long tradition of libraries buying a few copies of a book, keeping it in the library for people to get for free. Mm-hmm. And I think the notion of a free public library is definitely a societal good.
It's essential to the democracy.
I think so, because not everybody can afford to buy a book. When digital came along, it became a little bit more complicated. So I'm looking on Overdrive, which is the software the Sonoma County Library uses, and I wanted to read Isaac Asimov's Foundation. I don't happen to have a copy. I read it when I was in high school, and it's coming out on Apple TV Plus this month. So I looked and it said, well, we have 3 copies and they're all out, and it's a 6-month wait. It's just exactly like or 6-week wait. It's just exactly like the library. They have a limited number, even though they're digital, and they could, in theory, have infinite copies. But that's how they've handled it, is to make it just like it's a real book. I think that seems fair.
So it does. Okay, so the other governing thing is they can only, when they do this, there's 2 types of windowing. When you buy a digital copy, you can only lend it out X number of times. So then they have to buy a new copy.
Because a real book would wear out after
a regular book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's part of the deal. And then the other part is there's a time constraint on some of them now too. So this is a problem if you want it, like Foundation, maybe not because it's super popular, right? People are always going to want to borrow that. But some books that are maybe less popular, they'll go out of the time limit for lending those books out, even if they haven't met their number limit. Yeah. And so I encounter this when I find, if you're looking for a new sci-fi trilogy, as I want to do, sometimes you'll be like, oh, there's a third and the second and third, so where's the first? And then it'll be out of window.
Oh, how frustrating.
So you're like, argh. I mean, and then you can go to Amazon and buy it, but
I have to think that it doesn't really cost authors or publishers much to support libraries, and there's such a benefit in society. I would hope Amazon would rethink its stance.
I mean, it probably does cost some.
There's a loss of sales. Yeah.
I read probably 2 to 3 books a week. And so I obviously would not buy that many books in my life, and I buy books by authors I like. I buy books if new authors, especially diverse authors, I'm trying really hard to spend actual money on buying their books, but I do read more than because I have very easy access to those books. I still would go to the library and pick them up otherwise. But I do think there's probably a overall loss in sales. But I also do it because ebooks are really expensive for what I feel like I'm getting,
they are.
Right?
They are.
Paying $12 for a digital copy of a book feels kind of like highway robbery sometimes.
Libraries also offer movies, digital for download, audiobooks for free. You should check your local library and see what software they support. I think it's Libby and Overdrive are the 2 biggest, right? You could read newspapers. And it's
magazines,
free.
Newspapers.
Yeah.
And if you go into the physical library, a lot of libraries are doing CNC. They have little electronics making stations. Some libraries have sewing machines. It's actually, libraries are.
Yeah, that's so smart.
And it's not
3D
free.
printers.
We pay for it with our taxes. I mean, you should use them because you're paying for them, and you should value them. So, my first job was in a library. I was an intern at a library when I was 13 and 14.
I worked in a library in college. That was one of my college jobs.
I did too in college.
I did.
Library nerds.
I worked in a movie theater, okay?
Well, you're more modern than the rest of us. That's all.
Cool kid.
That's all.